So, just baiting the other team can be a possible thing for them. And it will be Uranus. Well, I think Uranus did
Yeah,
perform pretty well in the previous game, so they're just banning him out in this game.
it's kind of understandable, right? Because Uranus was doing such a good job and trying to get into the backlines against the damage dealer, and I think Faden might actually be crying right there. But the thing is, Stepbros also know that Johan does prioritize the Lapu Lapu quite a lot, so they are gonna be banning it away. So this meta is so focused on the XP laners that I'm actually emotional. Like, I'm not emotional, but the thing is, it's always the mates, right? It was always the mates or the jungle that used to be banned away most of the time. But now we're seeing the XP laners. Look at that. The tap ban is also the Phobius, and one thing for sure is that Dark is so comfortable onto this Phobius. So I think this is also the reason why they have to take it away. And I won't be surprised if we see another XP ban here. Oh, there we go. The Badang. Still a flex, but it can also go into the XP, right? So 4 XP ban supposedly.
Up and this Phobius ban, maybe another Harith pick coming from Prime again because he doesn't want that counter to come on. Or maybe the reason of Phobius ban is they're gonna pick a first Bakshia or something like that. It doesn't want to give that Phobius to the side of Step Bros because if
Oh.
they will have the Phobius, their team fight will be a little bit stronger because we all know that
Mm.
Phobius can disrupt the backline as well as the sustain front one. So it's a good thing that they banned that Phobius as well as the Kalea. Okay. I mean, again, maybe again, Dusty wants to go for Assassin Jungle. Therefore, he's taking out these heroes. What if we're gonna see a Hayabusa ban or a Suyu ban from Stepbros?
Well,
Could
highly,
be
highly
anything.
possible because Kalia is there for the big off, and of course, Phobius scales with the more dash heroes are there. But then, even in the previous game, I think Stepbros were actually doing fine. But
Mm.
against the Harith, I don't think
Yeah.
Roger was a good pick. Maybe
Mm.
going in for Granger could have been a
Mm.
better option because he directly counters a Harith. And even
Yeah.
though Harriet didn't, just like we saw, that Stepbros were actually doing pretty good in the early, so Harriet didn't have enough farm. It was those small crucial mistakes which Stepbros did, and they kind of threw two in one of the
Yeah.
fights right there. And since then, it was, a win for Zohunt. They got all the lead which they needed. So Stepbros needs to make sure that this time picking up something which counters the draft from the side of Zohan can be better, not anything like Roger. And I think even the mage pick, Sicilian, couldn't have done much there, considering there was a Hilda who can
Mm.
literally stick to you, and there was also a Suya who has so many dashes to reach out to you.
Yeah. And I think it's just funny to see that Johan, they are a team that's a chaotic composition where they want to go for the pickoff most of the time, and they have been consistently bending out the Kalea. So maybe they do not really want to play the Kalea or something like that. But then for the Boxer being open, Johan has to directly go for the Boxer. But then again, the Boxer is easily countered lately by the newly buffed Xbox, so it appears onto the side of Stepbros as well as a deny pick for Faden here. The first are already going into the hands of Nicholas Queenman. This guy is he's so flexible onto his heroes or whatever heroes he's picking, he is able to utilize it so well. So I do not I think that this Versa pick very early is still valid because I don't really think Johan will go for the Hayabusa, no?
Yeah, but
Um,
I feel like they may can go for that because you know what, Bakshia can go for the roam as well, and that's the biggest
Yeah.
gamble they will play right now against the Stepbros. I was
oh,
hoping, I was hoping, you know what, I was hoping Paramis here so that they can have a heal. Going for
Mm.
the Valentina, that's a cool move, I can say. Last Insanity or Feather X Strike. Or maybe something else is coming on as well for the Valentina. But Moscow to the Prime is a great pick, I can say. But what if the counter will be a Irithel coming out from Stebros? We will see. But now the Bakshia being into the jungle or to the roam or to the EXP is the biggest question, even though the Xbox can manage the EXP nowadays as well.
Oh,
Can we?
well,
true damage.
I was just going to say this that just when Debbie said that Baksha is easily counterable, and one of the best
Mm.
thing to just pick up his carry right away, she can melt this guy down. Then he can't stand a chance. I have been like I play Baksha and I have faced against this carry. She if no one
Yeah.
marks down this marksman and if she plays pretty well with the positioning, which I think she will be having pretty much since there is the Farsa for the zoning. There is also the Xbox right now. So there is kind of a room which Carrie has, even though her distance, her range is less than the Moscow, and yet so Step Bros need to make sure right now that Carrie gets the farm, she gets the space to use up those attacks because if she gets whatever she wants, it will be an absolute massacre from Step Bros to Zohunt.
Yep. This is very interesting to say the least because early already, I think Cerberus knows that maybe Johan might not really go for the assassin. Or like, I think it's a very assassinable composition they are going here. But of course, you're gonna be having the ban out onto the Marsha because you do not really want to give the the win the Masa man. He's just gonna get on the roll with this hero too, and they have squishy backliners like the carry as well as the Farsa. But the thing I kind of am skeptical about the Moscow pick is that they do already have the Farsa under the hands of Stebro, so the Farsa kind of does well against any low range marksmen, and it is the Moscow. But the thing about Prime is that he's so comfortable on these heroes. However late the game goes, he's gonna be doing more and more. So I think that has to be they it has to be a reason why they are reliant on this Muscov as well and picking up to the first phase two. Very understandable. But right now, Step Bros they do need to pick up their roam or XP, right? Because I think that the XP is still a flex, so it's kind of they're still flexing where it's gonna be going. I think it has to go into the jungle because yeah, there we go. The a big ultimate given away again. The Gatot Guts are coming into play for Step Bros.
Yes, and there you go. The second phase already kicking on, and it will be a Florin and Rafaela ban, as you said. Baksha being there, support will be taken out. Obviously, it will be helping them a lot. I feel like this Baksha is going for the roam. We'll be seeing a jungle here, assassin jungle for this Xbox. Maybe a Suyu coming again, or a Lucas will be also going great now because at this particular draft, Lucas will work great. No,
What?
Baksha will be going for okay, okay.
Adita roam?
That means, I mean, this is kind of cooked. I mean, what is happening? The Valentina EXP,
EXP
Khalid to the roam,
Valentina.
Oh,
Kadita onto the mid, and the Baksha to the jungle. This is cool. EXP
you know,
Valentina against the
wait.
Gatot Kacha. That's really
Um,
cool, but how it works, I'm not sure.
I
well,
mean, Family
yeah,
Problem once went for the Valentina room before, though. I don't know it.
well,
Okay, let's
it's
see.
she's
Let's
so
see. Let's go.
flexible. She just fits anywhere, Debbie. Yes, but
Huh?
right now, what I think, if you look at both the drafts, that
Mm.
what I was saying that Gary really needs some space. But right now,
Yeah,
Albert
yeah.
or the Kaja, he will be diving in, and
Mm.
Teresa will also be diving in. Exborg will also be diving in, and then there is Carrie who will be left in the middle because Parsa will be far behind. So I think right now
Mm.
Carrie is really vulnerable, especially considering the flicker and ultimate combo coming from the Khalid, and she also needs to be wary from the combos of Kareta. Like she's been buffed and she's actually pretty, you don't even need the petrify anymore to just land
Mm.
those hits. And when
Yeah.
Farsa uses up that ult, so Kareta will make sure that she's hiding nearby somewhere, taking her down, just bursting her down. So right now Zohan has absolutely, the draft has been countered pretty hard to them. Now it's the same question again, Devi, that how
Mm.
is Carrie supposed to sustain in this team comp?
Yeah, you wanna constantly have the free hits, right? To be able to become the shredder that your team is setting you up for. So I think I get where you're skeptical about, and I don't really have an answer for this. I mean, I don't really see an answer for that. Only reason they will be able to survive is if Carrie here have an impeccable positioning. But the thing is, there's a lot of dive coming out from Johan, like you mentioned, and if push come to shove, even the Moskov is gonna be using the Spear
Mm-hmm.
of Destruction to try to dive in into you as well. And of course, there's always the pressure coming out from Ekandita. Already the change that with the speed also. I think this hero has been underrated for so long that nobody picks it up. But it's also so good against a hero like the carry any marksman, I would say, who does have the pet purify, but the purify cooldown is very long, and you can have the time to utilize it well. And it's also a very great counter for a hero like the Farsa.
But I feel like this is a Stepbros draft. They're gonna take this match on. We'll be witnessing a third match in this BO3 series, and it will be a great match. The tie-breaking match will be a great one because I feel like Kadita onto the mid. Yep, early game works. Late game doesn't feel good because if the Farsa will be having a purify or carry, maybe with the flicker, they can easily, outplay her, even though she's having a petri. So let's see how it goes. But I'm damn sure I'm kind of feeling that, not damn sure. I'm kind of feeling like Stebros draft is on. They are having their draft. Unless that Terizla onto the EXP is a kind of a bit question against Valentina. Let's see how it goes. But here we are into the land of Dawn for the second set between the BO3 series happening right now onto side Zohan versus Team Stepbros. Let's see who will be taking on the game. Casters, please take on the match.
Okay, the first turtle already being grabbed away by Zohan and them looking to force it behind once again. And the early is not looking good for Step Rose as the crowd controls and the mobility in the hands of Zohan is absolutely menacing. Okay, Xborg, I think something happened. Maybe he was because he wasn't there for the buff or anything. But right now, Debbie, this is what we say. Khalid, even though he got nerfed, he has the mobility, he has the flicker, he has so much time in. What can Stepbros do?
I don't think they will be able to catch up to the rotation that the Khalid is going to be making, because the passive is just going to be raising all over the map. And even the better in the clearance of the Terizla already, he's just so slow in comparison to the Khalid. But mid side though, there was a damage going on, and Nicholas came already falling down once. I think it has to be into the hands of the Stimizo right there. And yeah, we are actually right. Valentina into the hands of family problem. He did use it once, it worked out, and there's a lot of options for him to go for the ultimates. But Dark,
Okay, Dark in a dicey position. The artillery has been fired. The UTG grabbing onto two people. The taunts connecting in. A beautiful engage. The SOD also coming in. Will Moskov join up? And the ultimate's been used up. Wayne will be next on the chopping block. Moskov decides not to enter.
oh,
And look at that combo coming in. It will be a double kill for the Kadeta. Oh my god, I love this mage. She's so hard to
yeah.
grab. And her burst is amazing right from the early.
Yeah, you just blink and you die, right? That's the very reason why he's just not joining the team fights early enough and waiting for the right timing to dive in. Faden was the first able to get two important kills on his hands, and this time around, this is gonna be this time around he's gonna have to play like more aggressive than he did onto the first one, because this is the Kadita we are talking about, and he's gonna be having a lot of way to survive and a lot of way to move all over the map. But the window is just rotating up on top very early on.
Carry facing an issue right there. The ultimate from
Oh,
Faden once again takes her down. Oh my god, the damage is too much from Kadeta right from the beginning. Turtle also in the hands of Team Zohan, looking for another grab as Dark in a really low HP. He tries to set up some penalty zone, flickers away, it's really low HP. Rust trying to taunt them away, but that was too much of it. Valentina just using up that ultimate from the expert. Rust in a pretty low HP. Meanwhile, Zohan forcing it through aggressive. The flicker from Family Problem tries to take down, but the bait from the Gatot Kacha, he did have a revitalize which he did not use, and with this, Family Problem will be paying, but at what cost? It's everything. The gold and everything is still in the hands of Team Zohan. Winning a really low HP manages to use up that heal, but he will not be safe as it will be disrupted by the Xbox, who pulls him away from the safety, from the embrace of the sand.
that was such an amazing ultimate coming out from such a good synergy coming out from the jungle. Nicholas Grimm as well as the expert right there, Kelly. I think I saw that this guy, he's such an amazing assassin user, but he still shines so brightly onto this fighter as well. And this time around, a lot of damage is coming through for both of these teams. The early game is already aggressive. Even the side of Stepbros, they were being so aggressive because they have a lineup which try to go for team fights most of the time because they have setups with the Teresa as well as the Gacha. But then again, for Johan, they do have a lot more damage into the early game in comparison to Stepbros. So maybe that's also the reason why we're seeing a lot of brawl into the 5 minutes of this game.
Well, definitely, Debbie, because also, if you do see the side of Team Stepbros, they have all of the damage just around two heroes, that is the Farsa as well as the carry.
Uh,
But both of them are being shut down. Like, they don't have the space, just like I mentioned before. Like, there's so much mobility, so much damage in the hands of Team Zohunt now. Like, even if Garukacha manages to grab onto someone, where, Karita just have literally like she can just go underwater and she's immune. And there's also our Valentina. She has a lot of dashes. Same goes for the rest of the team. They're so hard to catch, and if they're not being taken down, the main damage dealers, how is Stepbros even supposed to do anything? They can't even save their own damage dealers. So situation
yeah.
is really dicey for them, and maybe just holding it out to a late game can do something favorable for them.
Yeah, I think both of these teams, they are so high on pressure with the picks that they already did, and this is why I kind of love the draft coming out from Johan as well because they are so aggressive in their game style into the early part of this game, and most of the time you do not really see a lot of rotations coming through from Win when he's on different heroes. But this time around he is on the Khalid, right? So he's always rotating up on top most of the time, and I can see the slower rotation coming out from Dark just because of the hero. This guy is a fast on rotation as well, but onto the Teresa you are not that fast in comparison to the Khalid who does have a way to surf around the map, and that also give a leeway for Johan to try and go for team fights most of the time. And like you mentioned, Carrie is always in a vulnerable position. There's always a dive. Even a win from downtown comes up to the top trying to get a kill on Carrie. And there is the Kadita always diving in onto with the rough waves, just trying to kill onto you as well. So I think um even if that I don't think there's a way for Step Bros to have the chance to store up their goal because their win condition has to be the carry for the late game. But when he when he's hunted down like this, he's not having the best time of his life, and it's gonna be a real challenge to try to go for the late game too.
Well, yep, definitely. And with Valentina, she must be the happiest person right now because all like she has four ultimates she can copy.
Yeah.
She's in the zone. And like family problem is really happy. Meanwhile, Karita in between a lot of people and Rust looking for the taunts, but of course it is a Karita, really, really hard to catch mates. And the macro in the hands of Team Zohunt, one turret already taken away from the top lane. They're looking for some exchanges, Dark in the front, trying to provide some vision.
Yeah, and I think he's just the only one to try to do it as well. And a
Uh,
rotation up the bot lane though.
There comes to engage. The element from family problem actually zones them hard. Dusty in a tight situation, Dark in the front line, followed by ASAP. Both of them looking for some engages to start the team fights with. The next turtle of the game already coming up. The Braga armor being destroyed, and this is something which an Exborg is really vulnerable to in the early game. He's pretty easily countered if that armor is taken out, but I do see Karita looking for grabbing down the Exborg but gets spotted right away right there by Dark. The passive has been
Mhm.
used up. It's an easy turtle for the side of Team Zohunt. There is no zoning. No one even actually trying to compete against them because Stepbros know they don't have the means, they don't have the gold, they don't have the defenses, they don't have the firepower right now. Meanwhile, the taunt connecting onto the Moscow and carry rushing away all from the top lane, but Prime will be able to escape pretty easily. And there might be
Yeah,
another
and
engage coming in
oh,
as Baksha goes in, and here comes the
oh,
secret combo coming in from the Khalid, and it will be Dusty Me. So who will be taken out? way too forceful in that exchange. Prime with the SOD connecting, trying to take someone down, and the immunity onto Export does a lot of damage, tries to pull him back. The Kadita with the Petrify combo doesn't have the ultimate, but of course ASAP will be paying for it. And with this, once again, Zohan turns the tables into their favor.
Yeah, they are just dictating the pace of this game so far, and there was a weak movement coming out from Prime right there, just trying to go in when there's a lot of people right there. But yeah, it's just safe to say that they are so ahead onto their way, onto their goal as well as their structure wise. They just willing to take any kind of risk that they want. And right now, if you can see the build, he's not full with the Trinity also, so it's gonna be a little bit of a he's gonna take a little bit of time to try to come online, and it's gonna be very hard for them to counter. But look at
Um,
that.
SOD connecting. There will be no escape for the good old Gacha. He was way too deep. Carries all alone. Just backs away for now because he knows Zohunt will be coming in with full force. And Garukacha hesitates to taunt away Win because Win carry doesn't have enough damage to do anything right now. Meanwhile, Faden being an absolute menace for everyone, just standing there and being the symbol of what can you say, terrorizing everyone. Dark
Yeah.
clearing up the lanes because he's the only one who can actually do it right now. The element is used
Ooh.
up, but Carry in a dicey situation, being taken down by the SOD and the Baksha combo coming in. Look at the damage coming in. And Iceberg uses up that Piraga armor and the ultimate. Prime will be paying for it though, and with that, he's still trying to force it through. Dustin very low HP, and actually the Sandman misses up his ult between so many people. Peyton using up that ult, trying to grab on to one kill, but all for naught as it will be a two for one trade.
Yeah, that was too much of a costly price to get for one carry right there, and I think Johan did made a grave mistake just trying to go for one. But look at the damage coming through. Okay, family problem.
Uh, Family Problem goes in, and it will be an Uno reverse as ASAP will be just taken down by his own ultimate. Some okay, the range isn't enough, so Neko will not be able to bombard down Family Problem. Meanwhile, the same thing happening towards the bot lane. Khalid in the low HP. Family Problem managed to go away. Dark trying to provide some vision, trying to provide that penalty zone, but the follow-ups aren't enough. Carry doesn't have enough damage right now, not enough gold in the first lot of the game. Will Zohan be able to secure it easily? As we do see Faden and the rest of the team also there. People looking for the dance around the map, Dark. Just the EXP exchanges right there, but I think Zohan will be grabbing it easily. No contest from the side of Team Stepbros.
Yeah, the kill pressure coming up from the side of Johan is too much, and even there's no squishy that they could take down, because even if you try to go full on onto this Kadita, he does have a way to survive. He does have the rough waves, anything that make him able to swim all over the map, and this is why I think the way that Johan are playing is just so aggressive, because they have a lot of ways to they are so mobile, they have a lot of ways to survive, and they're not even scared to lose out any of the members, because looking at the way they're playing, they have a lot of goal. But look at that.
How Dusty goes behind trying to take down Carrie. The ultimate from Valentina doesn't actually hit anyone, just provides some zoning away. ASAP trying to take that red will be denied as the minions are forcing the top. The Lord is forcing the board. Faden looking for some exchanges, hiding in the bushes. He is the predator looking for a prey right now. And Step Bros, they need to step back for now. The Lord is coming in. The turrets are falling down. Three inhibitors. Ours what is remaining. Carry too much in the front. Dusty tries to go in looking for some exchanges. And the Holy Shield gets toppled away. The rest of the team. Okay, the family problem using up ultimate. But so can used up. I think waste right there. But then again, they did win out on a lot of turrets there.
And I think the macro decisions made by Johan is always the one that wins them games, because they were able to sing out the Lord so far so good most of the time, and the zone potential coming out from the heroes that they already have. I think it has to be one of best way to utilize under the Lord to just not force them enough. And there has been a lesser trolls this time around for Johan, because they are so known to try to troll the games where the Lord is up, and they are much more disciplined than I remember. But I think Stepbros are the one actually not getting not even having the space to try to go look for fights there. too strong for the frontliners of Zohunt are too strong for them to dive into the backline, and I don't really think even Nico's Queen with the ultimate will be able to reach onto the backlines too most of the time because he's always gonna be in a vulnerable position. There's always the threat from the mermaid, there's always the threat from the sandman. It's always him they targeted on. Look at the builds already. Almost a full build for the main damage dealer for the side of Zohan Prime getting the last build already. So it's gonna be harder for Stepbros to try to kill him. Meanwhile, look at the damage though.
Okay, Win forcing through, uses up the flicker and the ultimate to escape. The AOTG missing out on anyone, and Dusty Mizo in a tight situation will be taken down. Carrie finally gets a shutdown. A bit of gold for her. Faden in a position to assassinate
Oh.
someone. Okay, gets cut up and is to go away. But right now, I think that was too much of an overextension for the side of Team Zohunt. Although Khalid is back, but Dusty Mizo isn't dark. Really low HP, flickers away. The ultimate isn't enough to take anyone down. Carry dishing out a lot of damage, but there is Faden always on the lookout for Carry as well as Farsight. They come in, and with this Exborg using up the ultimate, the Lord has come up. Both the teams just going back, looking for some heals, looking for some exchanges, and just like you said, Debbie, Carrie is the win situation, but she doesn't have the room. And of course, Farsa doesn't have it either because there's so much stance, so much mobility, so much range in the hands of Team Zohan that they will be easily grabbing onto this next Lord. But Stepbros actually decide to come in, contest for it. The Raging Sandstorm actually manages to shut down someone, take them down, but it will be Dusty Mizo winning out on that Retribution battle. Meanwhile, once again, Faden doing the absolute job he is meant to do, taking down the carry once again.
Oh,
There's SOD connecting, Prime going behind the scenes, taking down Neko, a triple kill for him as Rust will be taken down, a complete wipe out as they march down to take this final battle and grabbing onto an absolute victory with a clean sweep, Debbie.
yeah, amazing, amazing play style. Finally, Prime coming online, and he's gonna be eating up the crystal right there. Johan with the clean sweep. Nothing's new because they were always able to beat Stepbros, no matter what the lineup is gonna be.
Well, that was, I think it was the way they drafted. It was a surprise pick,
Yeah,
and yet it worked so well against that
yeah,
draft. Ash, what do you think if you're back here with us?
Yeah, I mean, that was really unexpected from them. Even though the draft was kind of good from the side of Team Sebros, but they couldn't utilize it.